We've got Terran down here in the, not down here, up here in the upper left. And in the upper right is our Protoss player. So Royal, our Terran, and Sins, our Protoss, our unusual current King of the Hill.
Yeah, kind of exciting to see him there. And hoping Royal can do what Light did and just make us watch like 10 Terran games in a row, but we'll see. We already had a good PvZ today, Tastosis. I think you've been spoiled enough.
I've had enough, man. I will say this map, an interesting feature is that there are 3 expansions between each main. Like there's 3 on the top, 3 on the right, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the left. There's a lot of bases you can end up taking in a PvT, especially for the Protoss. ZVP for the Zerg and PvT for the Protoss are the most expansion intensive matchups for that race, for the Zerg in the first one and the Protoss for the second one. So there can be a lot of if you're out of position as Terran, a lot of bases you got to deal with trying to fight.
Yeah. It's kind of funny you say that, because I was thinking about it as you were saying that. I'm like, what match do we take the most bases in as Terran? It's actually TVT.
Yeah,
like
correct.
after you get to a certain number of tanks, basically the whole map gets taken. It's like,
right.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Each race, it's just kind of the way the game turned out, but each race has a matchup where they gotta gobble up the whole map.
Now, looking at the builds, it looks like it's meant to be a 15cc here from Royal. He's got just a beautiful Sim City here. You can make a couple Zealot-proof holes where Marines can run in and out, one between the barracks and the CC, one between a depot that'll be on the right of that barracks and the barracks. So that's really, really good for him. And looking over at Sin's base, okay, so he went Gateway, second pylon, so he's definitely going to go Zealot. In fact, yeah, it looks like it's probably going to be like 2 Zealots at least, right? If you go gas after gate finishes, is that 2 Zealots Goon? Or is it 3 Zealots Goon?
I think it's 2.
Okay.
2. I think your core would be a little bit too late there. I thought this might be Pylon, Gateway, Pylon, Nexus for a second, but...
That's actually getting popular right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought it might be. But out of curiosity, just as 2 guys who are trying to figure out their own races, and I'm always curious what other Protosses are doing on the ladder, because that's kind of the one weird blind spot I tend to have about my own race, right? Because I'm not seeing other games. But how common is it still to put do what Snow did to beat Flash and put a crawling Reaver outside the Terran's base to kill them with this? Is that not common anymore?
Yeah, against gasless, yeah, like I don't do the gasless build all that often, but when I do, I would say maybe 25% of the time they do proxy. And it's almost always Reaver at that point. Now, here comes that first Zealot. This Zealot got here really, really quickly, so this is highly annoying for Royal. Actually saves the SCV. He's bringing more down right now because he actually needs to deal with this so seriously. If a second Zealot gets here and he's not ready for it, then he can just kind of flank the Marines and it becomes very, very tough. So he's making the bunker. He's pulled a very, again, serious amount of SCVs here. A good surround on that Zealot, pops back against the other one, but look at this drill. Oh my god, look at the drill. Oh, but it just doesn't work. Great SCV micro from Royal. Great micro.
Yeah, I mean, Royal is just destroying this. Sins now is going to just dive on this, which I think Terran would be happy to take. This is actually a pretty catastrophic early game for the Protoss. Looks like that probe gets inside at least, but you're not going to find anything of interest inside the main right now. Just a gas being taken.
Yeah.
The Nexus isn't being made. In fact, we're going to have a Robo come in here, so it seems like... well, hold on. I guess he is going to get a Nexus. I stand corrected. But it's going to be quite a late Nexus. I mean, Protoss is behind on a lot of different tech metrics right now.
Yeah. If I had to guess for Sins what to do here, I think he'll probably go 1 gate Reaver, just as kind of a failsafe where you make them make turrets and you make them stay in their base, and then probably just go directly into another Nexus. That feels about right, because he's definitely behind right now. Royal has to be feeling very, very strong, because he knows that, like, you spend those 2 Zealots, their Nexus is so slow compared to your command center, you're just going to get ahead in macro. And it feels like really Reaver is the main way you could slow your opponent down.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct. I think Protoss players that just blindly go 3 Nexus are always in danger. But on the other hand, when you have a game like this one where you need to play catch up, I think you got to take a risk. Now, it doesn't actually look like he's going to do that, Artosis. He's going to go for a Reaver drop.
Yeah.
But no third Nexus there.
Oh, yeah, no, I think what you do is you get the Reaver, and obviously you send your probes down, but I think he is going to, like, what I mean by third Nexus, I think he will do it before a second gateway.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Never
mind. We're on
that's
the,
like,
I got you.
Yeah. So see the probe coming down. Nope, doesn't go to the third base as of yet. We'll see if he ends up going that route. But yeah, I think that's it's like greedy and a little it's a bit risky for sure, right? Like if your opponent walks out and you don't micro your Reavers correctly, you can just lose the game. But after that start that he had, where his Nexus is just very late, it's like honestly, like losing the 2 Zealots is not that big a deal. It's more how late your Nexus is and how much that hiccups your production.
Yeah, because ultimately Protoss has to have enough, kind of manpower to actually, if the Terran's guard is down, is win a fight with Vultures and Zealots. Now, this isn't going to work. Notice that the eBay's on top of this. One of the oldest dirty tricks in the book. It was kind of a cool idea when it first came out, was hiding stuff like that under the building. Now, he might not have siege mode done yet, so sometimes you can just start to pelt the bunker or any tanks that are on the outside.
Yeah, that would be really nice. And as he pokes in and sees turrets, really the Reaver should just fall back to slow any pushes coming out, because when you go gaseous expand, it gives you an awesome opportunity to pressure your opponent with tanks and vultures. So yeah, that's what I want to see from the Reavers, is just like slow that down, pick off vultures, keep the tanks back as long as possible and everything like that.
So,
yeah,
keep in mind, Dragoon Range is about to finish, by the way. That's how kind of off the normal rhythm you have in this game. Now, shuttle speed finished. And this is where you can drop one Zealot out here to kill the turret and basically try to start hammering down these SCVs. And I actually like a lot what we see here from Sins. I think this is a smart idea, considering how bad the position was here, to try to basically set up like a fight that maybe you can take. Is this scary when it dud? Oh, somehow that has 2 HP. The Zealot will finish it off. The Marines kill off the shuttle. And I don't actually know how many workers were killed there.
Not that many. Not that many,
right?
Yeah, I still think it was a good move, though. It like kind of hiccups him a little bit. Thing is, now you don't have that shuttle and Reaver. And you see that right now, Royal has put a lot of mines around. He's kind of keeping tabs. I saw a probe try to come out after the third gate started to take the third base, but was kind of denied. So finally going to go up to try to take that now. Not quite as quick as I thought he was going to go for it, but it gets picked off. And I mean, obviously that's a problem. Royal is slowing him down quite a bit and still has a very strong economy.
Seems like Royal's in a pretty comfortable spot. More Reavers are going to come here. This may end up developing into just Shuttle Reaver from the Protoss, who's basically going to just sit back here and, try to make any moment where Terran is truly committed to being on the outside of the map, maybe make that a little bit uncomfortable, make it feel not so safe. We don't have a third CC coming. We've got scanners developing here for Terran. Finally, the third base is taken for the Protoss, and what's been a pretty tight game on both sides. Kind of a lot of respect going on each side of the map here. Each side aware that there's a very powerful possible attack on either side that could happen here, and nobody wants to be too relaxed.
And we just saw a scan go down, and he caught exactly what he's looking for. He saw another shuttle sitting there. He saw a Citadel warping in, which is like one of the most powerful things really that you can check for, is that Citadel timing. That's kind of tell him how this game is going. Most likely this should develop into Psystorm. Like not an Arbiter game, but rather, a speed shuttle Reaver into Psystorm, in shuttles and all that stuff, gateways. But it looks like Royal is basically completely safe, right? He's adding his factories. He did start his third CC. He's not too slow on anything. It looks like a very comfortable position for him.
And I think it's going to be kind of a funny PvT in that, you know, nobody is going to explode in growth right away. Protoss is basically just now getting the 6 gateways up. The Templar Archives is coming. Terran is going to very carefully tiptoe with these tanks, basically leapfrogging them across to drive this Reaver back and ultimately take the 3rd base. But I don't think we're going to have an attack from Terran right away. And I don't think we're going to have an attack from Protoss either. I think it's going to be a pretty slow game.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit for sure. Like, Royal just won't have enough supply to attack anytime soon. There's actually this interesting thing going on because the Reaver was down at the bottom, and that's always where you want to expand. You want to expand towards the side that Protoss is not on Shakuras. But with the Reaver there, Royal just said, screw it, I'm gonna expand up to that top expand, which actually makes it a lot harder to hold on. I think he'll be fine just because of the way this game opened. But he's so close to the Protoss base. And also, this is like, out of all the expansions on the map, this one is, it's got more dead space where you can't build buildings. So it's mostly just your army trying to defend.
Looks like the 4th base is going to be set up here. I thought Terran was going to take the lower left, but he's going to grow up in here into the top. Actually, this almost makes more sense to me. This might be a game where the Terran's main agenda with the push is going to be to lock the Protoss into the main and basically contain the gateways and then reach out with some tanks and hit some other locations.
Oh yeah, I think for sure he is going to do that, but yeah, that's like one of the more powerful ways to actually end up playing. You want to try to cut off that circulation. But look, Sins he's starting to grow. Does have that 4th Nexus started now. You can see that kind of thing happening where he's just expanding down the row on the bottom right. A little bit hard for Royal to do much against that.
Reaver drop here in the natural.
Oh! Look at that, just suicides over the shuttle, or over the turrets there.
I don't know about this decision. I feel like having a Reaver out on the map is just...
But look, he's actually attacking down the hill now, so it looks like that decision was to draw him out of position. Drops out some Psy Storms. Let's see if this is enough. He looks like he's just going to bust in.
Oh, that was insane. Never mind, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. He pulled all those vultures away. That was actually why he's doing that. This is why Sins is so good. That was ingenious.
Yeah, really nice
the drop. Yeah, the immediate reaction from the Terran is to send vultures back. They're faster. They can get in there real quickly. And Sins was just a brilliant interruption here. I really like how Sins has been playing this because he was in a bad position earlier on.
Ooh,
another
nice
storm drop comes out.
Really nice storm there. But yeah, that's kind of the problem with expanding to that location. You're so close to Protoss. If the Reavers hadn't slowed him down and made him decide to send the command center up there, and instead he did expand down towards 9, that attack can't occur like that at all. It's much further away. It's much harder to pull that off correctly. So really well done there by Sins, and also, like I mentioned, right, that's the hardest expansion to hold on the whole map. So tough roll there for Royal. I don't think he's out yet because, like, he still has a decent amount of supply. He did lose a lot of units, but I mean, he's continuing forward with his upgrades. He's going to take this 3rd base once again. He's not that far down in supply, so I don't think another attack can occur for a while. And, you know, that's actually something about the Storm Drop style. You can take a lot of damage and lose a lot of your army, and you still have a little bit more comeback potential. This style doesn't really snowball you like Arbiter does.
Yeah, well, what's more important, I think, is that as the Terran shrunk, the Protoss really got to grow, right? I mean, the 4th base especially, that's a very important one for Protoss. But Terran is going to be fine for the time being. Now, something went wrong with that shuttle.
Yeah. Don't know what that was all about.
It's not quite as easy as it is to storm drop Zergs with or Protosses with that, is that you can try to drop the Templars out and they just get shot. But something else happened where that just kind of parked over there and decided to die. So I don't know what happened with that. I think you're right, though, Artosis. Royal's not done yet.
It's still possible to win. Like, Sins is ahead. I like his position more, but it's playable for Royal. Like, it's a very tough one. I think the problem is, like, how does he get a 4th base? It's probably going to have to go up to that expansion that we already saw him try to take. That's my guess, but yeah, we'll see how he decides to go about that, because right now he just has to focus on getting his upgrades and macroing.
Here comes the ever so important 5th base of Protoss, this time in the main. Sealing that up with pylons and then populating it with gateways is what allows the Protoss to not ever get contained. And it is sort of the backbone positionally of what lets you as a player never be dominated by the Terran as far as positions go. Obviously, tech's important, Storm and Arbiters or Carriers or all that, but this is really an important moment that Protoss has gotten this base down here. Once the Nexus is made and everything, the Protoss is going to be in a pretty comfortable position, but there is going to be a push coming in from Terran in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think that right now you can kind of tell what Royal's planning. He's making a command center on the right side of his main, and look at how many mines he's putting here, how he's trying to make this into a location that you don't even want to think about attacking as Protoss. He's trying to pick off observers so that it's harder to clear these mines. He's pushed everything back, and now he's going to shift his army up towards like 11 o'clock, right? Like he's got to send it up and take that 4th base. He needs a lot of units there to do it.
And I think as he takes the 4th, he'll probably push in here as well. Whoa! Accidental magic box storm there.
Yeah.
Just burned through
2 storms
2
at
Templar
least.
storms. So we have the gateways coming down here into the bottom right main, but yeah, we're far from over now. But I think the climax really is about to get here, because the vultures, the tanks are all unsieging, moving out, and he wants to try to take this 4th and probably push in as well. You cannot counterattack the 3rd base for the Terran. It's just not safe.
Yeah, but you might be able to bust him while he tries to get his 4th. I feel like that should be the focus here, but it seems like Sins is probably just going to let him take it and maybe take more bases himself. It doesn't seem like he's really getting into position to try to roll down there and stop the 4th.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Artosis. He's not even going to go for this base, dude. The command center is actually going down. Actually, I'm a little bit confused by where this command center is going. I think he's unsure of where to try to take this.
Oh, I think he still probably wants to take it there, but maybe realizes he can't just directly do it. He's actually bringing a lot of attention to this area at the bottom near the 3rd. So it could be one of these moments, right, where you're like, okay, let's get the Protoss kind of out of position here. Let's push up elsewhere. Try to actually set up a spot. See, now he's starting to move up towards that 4th base. Sin's rotating back with his army. Don't forget, Psystorm going to be super powerful here. Look at this, dropping out those High Templars, storming everything clumped up as it comes up. Just massive storms.
Whoa, insane storms here. And he's got a few more in his pocket. If he can just blanket this area a little bit better with those. Now, Sin still comes out in not a great spot here, loses a lot of his army, but that was a lot of tanks that were killed off.
Yeah, I think that was quite good for Sins, really. Like, killing off that many tanks is just so valuable. Yeah. And he's got a good mineral bank right now. He's got his 5 bases up. I want to see him take another Nexus at this point. But yeah, slowing down Royal like that, I think it's a good move.
But now we got to see how he handles this push. This is, I think, an extremely important moment here. The Vultures are not with these tanks. This is very stormable. But keep in mind, the Vultures are actually very... Oh! That was an insane stasis here. More tanks in the back. Looks like no storms ready for them. It's important that Protoss continues to pump out of these gateways and basically get enough to where, as the push comes forward each step of the way, you're able to sandbag the progress of that.
Yeah, and Sin's right now trying to max back out. He is up a good 25 supply or so. It was a strong stasis, but we actually had 3 of the High Templars get EMP'd there, so some great Science Vessel usage out of Royal. And he's just trying to set up this area. Like, if he can hold on against this push, he could be in decent shape after that. But let's see. A lot of High Templars joining in.
Oh, these mines are insane.
Oh!
If he gets his last one,
Oh my god.
And again, though, that shows you the power of Terran. He still blows all this away and might still be able to push. Protoss needs to macro up more, but if Terran doesn't succeed with this push, I don't know that they can recover. At least not for a while now.
Supply on both sides getting pretty low. This is a ballsy attack from Royal. He's either got great star sense or he's desperate. He does have his 4th base up and running at this point, but I think it's time to pull back. He took a good engagement there, but you're going to have units swarming out of the main and out of the 5th base from different angles. You've got shuttles still around. You've got Psystorms. You've got Arbiters around. The possibility of Mind Drags. I think you have to go regroup. If you stay out in the middle right now with this army, that is begging to die.
Okay, he's going to attack in over here. I like this little counterattack. One stasis is available. The shuttle is taken out in the middle of the map. And, I mean, Protoss is okay. +3 attack over here, +3 attack for Terran, +1 armor. I'm sure the second armor is inbound right now.
Actually, he's skipping second armor.
Oh,
I think he's
right.
poor enough that he's just like, screw it. The armors aren't quite as good.
No, good correction. You're right. He's gonna hang back here. Is he gonna go for a stasis here? He's just trying to keep this army alive in any way that he can.
Yeah, he's buying time. Like maybe he can get that science vessel. Wow, that's a sick pick off considering. And yeah, I want to see him save the Arbiter. Obviously, like you don't want to be losing Arbiters. That's the ultimate unit to really kind of start stacking up in the late game.
Keep in mind that this 3rd base is recallable. There is enough energy for Arbiters. It may not happen at all, but I just want to put it out there. It's not turreted up enough that you're necessarily safe as the Terran.
Well, I think we're going to have a storm drop at the 4th base. Look at this. The shuttle's starting to come in right now. Zealot comes out. High Templar as well. Oh, it dodges it perfectly. Okay.
Yeah,
that didn't do anything.
Really lose anything there.
5th base being retaken. Some good macro on both sides here. Almost Sin's just about remaxing out, but still no additional nexus. I really would have liked when he did the initial break down into the 4th base. Well, I guess it was the 2nd break down into that area. If he had made a 6th nexus, I'd be feeling a lot better about his position here.
Yo,
whereas
Artie,
I feel like Royal is fighting back.
Artie, there's gonna be a recall here.
Oh god.
At that 3rd.
Oh god.
He actually baited him. He baited him with the other Arbiter. And so now there's no recall. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. He's gonna come in here. He's gonna be able to pull this off in time.
No.
The EMP, the recall.
Yeah.
He gets the recall off.
And, well, it's a pretty big recall there. He's targeting down on the CC.
I love it.
Yeah, you got to float the main CC down here if he kills that. But actually, look at that. All the glitching with the SCVs on top of the Dragoons, unable to fire. And that is going to wreck this recall. Look at that, a great defense matrix as well.
This recall is completely backfired now.
Dude, that was the cleanest cleanup ever. That, like, against a lesser Terran, you kill the command center there, and you're reasonably efficient against the army.
But people in my chat asking how if the EMP hit perfectly, how does the recall even hit? You cast recall, and it doesn't actually take the mana out initially, but the spell's already started. So it's a weird thing where, like, the EMP looks like it's hit, but they already actually put the command in for the recall before the EMP hit. So it does still go through.
Doesn't sound right, Tastosis. Doesn't sound right. Look at this. The Zealot's getting on top of these tanks now. Oh my god, after all of that, he went too quickly into the center, a storm onto the tank. So many Zealots getting in on top of this. And he is going to lose every tank that he has been building all game long. Look at that. Loses so much of it.
Now, he's still got some, but I'm worried that Protoss might power up a little bit more.
Yeah. Another round of Zealots are going to be so scary.
It really is a true tug of war here in the middle of the map. I don't know if the Protoss actually has that much. I'm kind of looking around. It's Dragoons and Zealots.
He is actually drying up now, right? Like, he just got that 6th Nexus to finish. I mean, we're 24 minutes in, and he just finished the 6th Nexus, so it feels like it is a little bit late. And now, suddenly, Royal is pushing down, and he is going after that fresh Nexus.
Okay, so This is scary, but again, with gateways in two different important spots on the map, you're a little bit more freed up here. You can sack this Nexus and then just try to play a map control game from there.
Yeah, looks like he's clearing the mines in the center of the map. The tanks and vultures coming back after killing that Nexus. I love that he doesn't try to hit the bottom right. May as well just leave it. Comes out, starts fighting these goons and zealots. Pushing them back very efficiently. They're picking off what they can.
He could catch these tanks over here. I think Protoss is being a little bit more nimble here and kind of picking his fights. Again, Templar drops are a real threat to anything that's just kind of roaming the map.
Yeah, it looks like, I feel like Sins is moving his army really, really well here.
Yeah.
And like Royal, obviously the Terran army is scaling magnificently at this point, but he is down in supply. It is a little bit tough. But yeah, let's see. The storms come in, has to back up once again. Great EMP goes down. Actually misses most of the things he was looking for.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, and then I zoomed in. I thought, oh, that's not actually as good. The second one does connect. Now, this is a big moment here. He better not lose his Arbiter.
And he better not lose his CC.
Yeah, this is a pivotal moment here in the game. There's another attack in the bottom left base as well.
Oh. Yeah, look at that. He's actually at the Zealots on top of the SCVs. The Vulture's mostly fighting some goons here. He's bringing down enough units that you will be able to clear it out, but he's actually losing a ton of his economy in these SCVs.
Honestly, this has been like a kind of insane game on both sides. They're really both playing the positional game very, very well. I think had Sins not pulled this maneuver off, and I don't know what the total SCV count is, but it can't be great. By the way, a big attack coming in here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, he's clearing up a lot right there. There's actually like a random vessel, a few Goliaths in the center as well that are getting picked off. Royal comes back up into the center. Oh, an EMP goes out, but misses that Arbiter. It's going to come forward and get a nice stasis off on those front tanks. Now, here come the Zealots. Good D-Matrix. The Vulture's coming up to help out. Got to target with those tanks a little bit.
He's actually going to kill these tanks. He just gets in far enough along that the tanks are going to fall. Now, there's a few more tanks remaining, but again, it's extremely important for the Protoss you kill off as many tanks as possible. We have the third base about to mine out. The fourth base is not... Well, it's mining again. I mean, there's that. It's become an extremely scrappy game. It's 120 supply to 105. So, like... I do worry, though, for the Protoss, as exciting as their attacks have been on their side of the map, they don't have a lot of bases. In fact, they're about to be mining on just one. And so, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, that is the main story for Protoss, because I feel like he's played, like, an excellent game. It's just base number 6 is the one thing that just hasn't been happening for him.
Also, this game could go on where Terran has the bottom left, which is a pretty tough spot for Protoss to play from if the game's been going on for this long. Yeah,
actually, in really scrappy games like this, sometimes you can get a command center on down there, and it's so hard to deal with because Vultures are so quick. You're throwing down mines, use a turret or two to just kind of complement that and get shuttles to trade less efficiently, and suddenly you're in really good shape.
So, what do we got now? I mean, I feel like Terran inches ahead, actually. I really do. Let's see if the Storm Drop can do anything. This would be huge.
Ooh,
okay, that's actually a lot. Oh, does he have any more? No, he doesn't have any more.
That was a sick storm, though. That was fantastic. He got a lot of SCVs there.
That's a feature of this map, is that because there's only 3 or 4 patches at these bases, you can just, if you set it up correctly, you'll kill everything that's mining there.
You know what? I actually hadn't really thought of that, but that's completely true. Because of the split nature of the patches, it makes storm drops so much better.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great when you're playing a good Zerg or a good Protoss player and you just get one of those patches, because you're going to nuke sometimes like, you know, a 1/6 or a 1/5 of all of their workers. So, Terran now reaches down here into the bottom left.
Dude, who do you think's going to win this game? This is actually crazy.
Well, you know, it's so hard to say. I feel like Terran is, I think, set up getting the bottom left.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I keep thinking about. You know, trying to... visualize where this game's going to go from here. It just seems like they're going to get this as starting location. Protoss can't really expand to the top. Terran kind of can. Maybe that'll happen. We'll get there if we get there. Protoss is at the point where they are expanding a little bit closer. I know the bottom center bases are not that close, but I do feel like if Protoss doesn't do something to kind of uproot the Terran's position somewhere, like we saw many times before, we're not going to have a game where Protoss can win. But let's see. I mean, let's see. It's for Protoss, only one armor upgrade. We don't have the second armor upgrade coming right now. Terran is also not getting that armor upgrade. They kind of both stopped, even though Terran now has 2 armories.
Yeah, I gotta say, I kind of agree with you. It feels like Royal is taking control at this point, even though he's down in supply. I just saw him lay a bunch of mines in his main, and he's actually starting to throw down extra turrets. It looks like he's floating an eBay for some vision. So I think he's basically assessed it the same as what you said, where it's like, Protoss needs to uproot him, or he's going to be able to take it. So he's like defending against recall. He's spreading really evenly. He's just kind of hunkering down, because where do you expand next as Protoss? You have to expand towards Terran now. There's no other bases to take.
Arbiter Tech can be so strong, but there is a point where it does start to not do that much with recall. What? Like, you can't really get in there and recall anywhere.
What?
Unless you have like hallucinate or something like that.
What?
And this is that moment here. Like, if you look at the Terran's main, if he recalls, the mines are going to blow everything up. There's going to be enough turrets. There's a vessel here, so it's not hard to EMP it if he does it in time. And then you can't recall in the middle. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, center left is what I mean. You can't recall anywhere. Like,
it's like, well, yeah, there's nothing there to recall. Like, what? But yeah, it's hard to get in. Like, the zoning that Royal's doing is actually fantastic. It's rare that you see a Terran that's spread like this. And it's like not even that much supply, but he's spread so brilliantly. He's got good coverage of turrets and Goliaths in the center, and turrets on the edge, Goliaths in the center. The vessel's kind of patrolling around. Okay, here comes the Arbiter.
There you go.
Oh, did you see that? So first off, he EMP'd it while it was coming out of the starport, and it still recalled, but it only recalled an observer.
How does that even work? How does it only recall an observer?
He had to just misclick the recall.
That must be it.
Thank God. There was only one tank there. That would have been... Ugh.
All right, Protoss is maxed out, and they're taking the top spot. This is getting insane, man.
Okay, yeah, and the max out plus expanding there, I think, is really key, because he can make a very strong move now, which will buy time for that expansion to really get up and running. All right, here we go. He is going to attack in towards his bottom left. Such an important area. Comes in with a very iffy stasis. Goes for the Archon, actually taking some of that splash.
He's just going to try to run him over.
Yeah. Well, he does have more supply, but he needs the Psy Storms. Like, it's... he's not storming those back tanks. They're so clumped up. Okay, gets one very good storm, but I don't think he can get another one. Yeah, and that turned out to be really efficient here for Royal. Real efficient.
Yeah, he just tried to force a fight there, and it did not work at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that was rough to watch.
I think the stasis was really poor. If he had saved that and brought it up, like, he got one tank and one vulture in his observer. It was just like not that worthwhile.
Okay, not bad with the Psy Storms over here on these workers. You know, SCVs are more resilient to Psy Storms just because they have more hit points, so sometimes you can pull them away. Artosis looking around. Artosis, they have drones and probes do die faster to Psy Storm, Artosis. You gotta believe that.
Don't believe his lies.
Observers detectors when they're frozen in stasis? Do you know?
No.
Okay, they get turned off, basically?
Yeah. Well, that would be a hilarious move, man. If you're trying to break through, like, a Zerg base where they keep getting your observers, so you just tech to stasis, then stasis your observers, so it can't be screwed with. That would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. It makes me think now.
Yeah.
We gotta get them to patch this game. That's the one thing they gotta fix.
Yeah. You know what? Leave flying SCVs in. Just patch stasis observers.
Oh, there's a Templar over here. He has a Storm available at this expansion. He does get another great Side Storm off. Keep in mind, these SCVs are probably not going to repair each other, and there's not going to be a medic made, so over time, the damage gets permanent, right? So sometimes the 1 or 2 Storm drops don't seem to do anything, and then another Storm drop comes in and everything dies.
You know, Royal having these bottom 2 left bases, I don't know what the plan is anymore for Protoss. Like, he did his big attack.
Yeah.
It seems like he doesn't have as much Psy Storms or as many Arbiters anymore. Like, he is just kind of focusing on maxing out, and he's doing that, but we have this ultra efficient Siege Tank Goliath Vulture army with its ridiculous +3 attack, so I become nervous once again here for Sins. Like, he's fought back so many times this game. But how do you actually kill this army? Well, actually, you might be able to. There's only like 10 Vultures in here.
All right, he gets an EMP off on one of the Arbiters.
He needs to just go. Yeah, here we go.
He needs to just go.
He's gonna kill it. These tanks are gone, Tasteless.
He does EMP those 2 Arbiters here. So there's not gonna be stasis. I think his Templar, if he get the Storm off.
Yeah, look at those storms.
Wow. Oh, that was sick. Terran, I think, should not have been out on the map like that. I don't know.
So true.
I mean, that was just a profoundly bad throw from Royal. You know, it's tough in these games when they get this chaotic to have a good barometer on like where you're at exactly.
You're really right though. They like that was a sick throw. Like losing that army in the middle, it made no sense. You can never really attack without it. You really need more than a group of Vultures at all times with your tanks. There's almost never a situation where you don't.
GG.
Ouch.
Damn.
Ouch.
Dude.
That's painful because that was so back and forth. It was really well played on both sides. A very exciting game. But if Royal sits back there and, you know, just kind of maxes out and like continues to do what he's doing, like hitting EMPs and running Vultures around a little bit, he's in great shape. But instead he took like all of his tanks basically and his Goliaths, and he had like 8 to 10 Vultures. This is something like when there's up and coming Terran players that like ask for advice. It's like in TVP, never attack with your tanks unless you have over a group of Vultures. You really need like 18 Vultures plus. Like you want 2 groups of Vultures with it, and like 2 groups of Vultures with tanks, you can kind of hold off anything for a while, right? Like it actually gives you play. But when it's that few, you can't stop anything.
Vultures are funny because they die fast, but when maxed armies are attacking them, they're kind of tanky because Dragoon shots all get wasted on one Vulture, you know, that's going to be killed.
Yeah.
Siege tanks alone are what make Protoss's mouths water. You go, okay, I can get that.
Yeah.
I can kill that immediately. That's a good target for me. Whereas if you have a ton of Vultures and like 12 tanks behind it, the odds of you ever getting close enough to target the tanks is just so low.
Wow. Okay. So, impressive game. Another really great game here tonight. We're having fantastic games.